Well, it's getting near the middle of winter. The sun is very low in the sky, and we notice at this time of year when we're driving that the sun's low and it always seems like it's going to get dark soon, and the light is very different. And so the year is passing, we're into June, and we're approaching what is known as the shortest day. Now, the shortest day is a time that occurs when the Earth on its tilt is on the side of the sun where the southern hemisphere is furthest away from the sun. You can see that it's tilted over at about 21 degrees, the tilt of the Earth, and the southern hemisphere is away from the sun, and therefore it's darker and colder. It's winter, and in the northern hemisphere, it's closer to the sun, and it's a lot warmer. And so here, over my shoulder, is what summer's like when the bottom is closer to the sun and it's warmer for us. And so that's what's called the winter solstice. There it is, the Earth tipped over, and you can see New Zealand down there right at the bottom, only just getting some sun very low in the sky for us, and it makes the time of the year very distinctive. June the 23rd, June the 21st, rather, Saturday, is the shortest day of the year. That's when the sun rises the latest and it goes down the earliest, and the hours of sunlight are very short indeed. And that marks the middle of the solar year, or the year governed by the sun, June the 21st. Now, that same weekend is Matariki. And Matariki is again an indicator, not in the sun this time, but in the stars, that the seasons are changing and that we are starting a new year beginning toward spring and summer. And it's these stars appear above the horizon to indicate that time. The funny thing about Matariki is that it is also a lunar date. So it's related to the moon and the months of the moon. Now, the months of the moon are actually different from the months of the sun, and that's why the date of Matariki changes. So this year it's in June, but next year or other years it's in July. And so it shifts depending on the moon and the position of the moon and the phase of the moon in relation to the sun. It's a bit like Easter. Easter is a lunar festival. It's based on the moon. It's based actually on the old Jewish festival of the Passover that was a lunar festival. And so it moves around the year because of when the moon begins its new cycle. And so we're coming up to the middle of winter, Matariki weekend, June the 21st, the shortest day, and it's very cold. Now, it seems a shame at this time of the year that we can't use our swimming pool because it's there, it's ready to go. It just needs a bit of a clean, and it's a very fine pool indeed. So I thought it'd be a good idea to follow a tradition that happens in many parts of the world, in Auckland and throughout New Zealand and around the world, and that is to have a swim on the shortest day in the middle of winter. So on June the 23rd, Monday, June the 23rd at 1 o'clock at lunchtime, I'm going for a swim. And I invite anyone who wants to join me to come along too. Teachers or students, let's take advantage of the shortest day and mark it not only by Matariki, not only by the solstice, the winter solstice, but also by a swim, like many people do in many parts of the world. You know, going for a swim in cold water doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's a bit of a challenge, but sometimes in our lives, it's good to do hard things because then it makes hard things simpler as we get older. And going into cold water, while it might seem a bit hard, actually is a very rewarding experience. It's good for our health. It wakes us up, and it makes us realize that we're the masters of the winter, not the winter masters of us. And so my uncle once told me, you will never regret going for a swim. And it's true, you know, if you go for a swim in cold water, very cold water, you'll enjoy it afterwards. Might be a little bit hard getting in, but once you're in and once you're out, you feel invigorated, full of life and ready to go. And so those of you who want to, mark it in your calendar, Monday, June the 23rd at 1 o'clock during lunchtime, I'm going to go for a swim in the pool, and you're invited to come along as well and just show that you're not scared of winter and that in fact a bit of cold water does you good. To qualify, you have to put your head under and you have to do a couple of lengths. And then you can say, I went for a winter swim. And so it's not something we need to be scared of. People go into cold water, a lot colder than our swimming pool all the time. And it's good for them. It makes them feel very bracing, very alive. And quite frankly, if you watch people once they get out, you sort of regret that you didn't go in as well. So anyone who would like to bring their togs along for Monday, June the 23rd, you can join me in the pool. We'll do a couple of lengths, get our heads under, and we can say, we are masters of the winter. We can be like this fellow here. He's not gasping for cold and saying, oh, this is terrible. He's saying, oh, what a wonderful experience. Monday, June 23rd, 1 p.m., Masters of the Winter.